Joining me now is Horace Cooper of Project 21, the co-chair and author of How Trump is Making Black America Great Again. Also with me is Scotty Smart. He's founder of the Smart Foundation. Thank you both for being here. Scotty, you were supposed to speak at a Forget the Fourth event in Atlanta. What do you intend to achieve by doing this? I know you're having some health difficulties and may not be able to attend, but what are these protests designed to do exactly?
Well, these protests are designed to educate people and to make sure that we have a unity amongst ourselves. When we say forget the fourth, a lot of people try to strategically change the narrative and make it a hate rhetoric against the Constitution or against the flag and things like that. And that's what it's not. But it's also to make sure that we hold America accountable for saying that it provides liberty and justice for us all, which we as Black people don't feel that we are getting in this country. And so when we go to celebrations like this, we voice our opinions and we voice ourselves, because if you look at the history of this country, which a lot of times people try to overlook, it has nothing that's been great for Black people. Since 1776, when the Declaration of Independence was signed, we haven't necessarily been treated as equals. And so as we move forward...
So, Scotty, wait a minute, Scotty. So you don't believe Black Americans can celebrate the 4th of July? Is that what you're saying? I mean, you're carving Black America out of the 4th of July, or that's what you'd like to do?
I'm not carving anyone out of anything. Anyone is free to celebrate however they would like to celebrate. What I'm saying is that we weren't free in our independence on the 4th of July when the Declaration of Independence was signed. So therefore, we aren't celebrating it, or me personally. So anyone is able to... Go ahead. I
got to let Horace in this, Scotty. Horace, your reaction is July 4th not a holiday for Black Americans, or one they shouldn't take part in?
This is patent nonsense. First of all, Black Americans, like white Americans, are going to be overwhelmingly on the roads this weekend. We're going to be setting a record of the number of people getting together with their loved ones to celebrate. Secondly, in 1776, there were thousands of free Black men who joined in the fight to help secure liberty and freedom. It is an absolute insult to the sacrifice that those people made to say that we were not, quote, free. Some were free, some were not free. Now all are free. America has lived up to the model that it set up. This experiment has been remarkably successful, and this weekend is a time that we should all be coming together to celebrate that success.
Scotty, what's wrong with that?
I don't even think Horace can actually believe that what he's saying himself. So let's give Horace a history lesson about Black Americans in this country, because he said in 1776 that we were free. But Horace, we weren't free until 1865. Is that not correct?
No, he said some people were free.
True.
The 13th
See, that's
Amendment...
not true. You don't know your history. Stay away from eating the Tide Pods. Stay away from eating the Tide Pods and look at the history book, and what you will see is there are a number of Black Americans throughout history who stood on the side of freedom and liberty. This celebration is for everyone who supports liberty. It is not for whites. It's not for Blacks.
Horace, I want to let Scotty get in here. Go ahead.
So when we talk history and we talk about the abolishment of slavery with the 13th Amendment, even then, right after that, you have black codes, which legally made us slaves still, because they still incarcerated us for not having homes and not having jobs at that time. And then as you move forward throughout history, you don't get civil rights and you don't get voter acts until 1965. And so when you go to that point of our history, which is 100 years later, now we're in modern day history. And then talk about how the government has strategically always systematically oppressed Black from
Scotty,
1965 to 2020.
Yeah, I think Horace's point is America has fulfilled the promise. It wasn't fully fulfilled early on, but it has been now. Black Americans are, Louis Armstrong is as much a part of the American story as Jackie Robinson and George Washington at this point. Two Republican senators, I want to get into this, two Republican senators, Ron Johnson and James Lankford, have put forward a bill to replace Columbus Day as a federal holiday with Juneteenth. This is Senator Johnson, or he said rather, we celebrating emancipation with a federal holiday, but we believe we should eliminate a current holiday in exchange. change. We chose Columbus Day as a holiday that's lightly celebrated and least disruptive. Here's my question to both of you. Juneteenth came 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, okay? The 13th Amendment was actually ratified on December 6th, 1865. So should we be celebrating Decemith? I mean, is that what we should be celebrating? I'll let you both get a crack at that. Is that what you want, Scotty? You want Juneteenth and no more 4th of July?
Juneteenth is a celebration of freedom for us, and I think that is something that should be a national holiday. I appreciate people stepping up and taking that stance. But even then, we talk about systematic oppression throughout the entire history of America. We still haven't gotten equality and justice for all, or liberty and justice for all, as the Constitution says. So you can look through systematic oppression, through poverty, through probation, through mass incarceration. You can look at several instances within our climate that are controlled by systematic oppression and white supremacy that has not afforded black people.
I need to let Horace get in here, Scotty. Yeah, I need to let, go ahead. Horace, you respond.
All the left-wing Marxist drivel aside, there is a fact. The fact is America gave more lives in the Civil War than in any war America has ever been a part of. And as a result of that war, 3 constitutional amendments came about. And as a result of that, America joined together and ultimately has said that it is going to commit, and has done so, committed to the idea that we did at our inception. Every citizen is going to be recognized and supported equally before the law. What they're wanting to do now is to throw that away, and yet it ignores the marvel of what our country is all about.
Scotty, I'll give you 30 seconds to respond.
Thank you. There's no way that that's true, Horace. There's completely injustice within our systematic oppression through criminal justice. Black people don't get the same sentences as whites. You have someone that it was just released who was sentenced to 1,000 years in jail for child pornography that just only did 7 years and was paroled yesterday. You have a black man in Kansas that was sentenced to 12 years for kissing a young white girl, but there was no DNA evidence found upon him. So make sure when you talk facts that you have your facts correct and you don't use your talking points to make sure you get your paycheck.
Go ahead,
These
Horace.
are talking points. Read my book, and you'll see a 100-year history of the progress of Americans who happen to be black by policies that were great for all of America.
Okay. We're going to leave it there, gentlemen. And Scotty, Horace, I want you all to come together and celebrate this great country that allows us to converse like this and allows us to support and love one another. And happy July 4th to both of you. Thank you for being here.